guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Callie, and today I wanted to do something kind of fun. And last week, the new Taylor Swift album, The Tortured Poets Department, dropped. I've got my merch. I actually just got this in today, as well as the sweatpants. These are actually the official merch. I was able to snag both these and the sweatpants. So I am in full Taylor Swift mode. I've been a huge Taylor Swift fan my entire life. Not really. Definitely her entire career. I found her during debut, and I've been a fan ever since. So naturally, I've been listening to this album on repeat, constantly. So I wanted to take the chorus lyrics of each of the songs from side A. Since it was a double album, I will be doing side B. And what books came to mind when I would read the lyrics to these choruses? So the first one is Fortnight featuring Post Malone. The chorus goes as, I love you, it's ruining my life. I touched you for only a fortnight. I touched you, but I did touch you. For only a fortnight, there we were, forever running to you. And to me, this felt like a second chance romance where they were only able to be together for a little bit and then shit happened, but they reminisce about that all the time. So I thought of Promises and Pomegranates. Cal and Elena's story, which is Hades and Persephone, just immediately came to mind when I read those lyrics. Cal is constantly pining over Elena. Elena's a little hesitant. They had like a fling at one point prior to the story, and I just thought that that fit really well. The next song is the titular song, which is The Tortured Poets Department. So when I thought of this, I definitely thought academia vibes, and part of the chorus goes as, we're modern idiots, and who's gonna hold you like me? Nobody, no fucking buddy. To me, the modern idiots mixed with academia brought me to The Love Hypothesis by Ali Hazelwood. They're both idiots, the entire book, but it is so sweet and adorable at the same time, plus giving the academia vibes that the Tortured Poets Department song gives me. Next is My Boy Breaks All His Favorite Toys. Man, these titles, I will say, way too long. However, I thought of These Violent Delights because the vibes I got from this song was very self-sabotagey, and if there is any couple that I've ever read about that is self-sabotagey, it's Roma and Juliet from These Violent Delights. This is a Romeo and Juliet retelling from 1920 Shanghai, and they are constantly getting in their own way and very self-sabotaging. So naturally, listening to this song got this vibe. Down Bad. Down Bad is way too poppy for what I anticipated this song feeling like, but Down Bad gave me Cruel Prince vibes. I felt Jude in this song, especially in the chorus, and where she's just like, I'm down, I don't give a fuck, I'm gonna deal with it. And that just, to me, screamed Jude. She is such a powerhouse of a female character, and I love her for it. Now, track 5 was So Long London, and I am a huge track 5 fan. Track 5 has almost always been my favorite song on the album, but that's because I typically do lean towards the more moody and emotional songs. So with So Long London, I got the letting go of grief of losing a relationship. So I thought of the Happy Ever After playlist by Abby Jimenez. This is following a woman who loses her fiance, trying to find love again and letting go of her past relationships and being open to loving again. And I definitely feel that So Long London gives that kind of vibe of, I'm letting you go, I do grieve you, but it's time to move on kind of a thing. And this definitely fits the bill for that. Up next is But Daddy, I Love Him. And again, these song titles, not the vibes I anticipated for any of these songs. So I picked Fourth Wing for this one because it's just the banter that Taylor Swift, this song is essentially making fun of the fan base, and I love that. And Fourth Wing gave that exact impression. The banter is really funny, and we have the immediacy of don't go for this bad boy. And does Violet listen to it? No, absolutely she does not. And goes for Xaden. So this is my pick for But Daddy, I Love Him. Next is Fresh Out the Slammer. I picked Furyborn for this one, strictly on what the chorus is saying, which is, now pretty baby, I'm running back to you, fresh out the slammer, I know who my first call will be, to you fresh out the slammer. And this one is, it's like running back to a toxic relationship, in my opinion. This is my whole interpretation of the album. Do with that what you will. But that gave me Furyborn because Riel just runs back and back to this toxic, not relationship, I mean it is a toxic relationship, but this toxic force. And she constantly, whenever she feels down about herself, she will run back to it. This is a fantastic representation of how a toxic relationship can warp your sense of thinking and sense of self. So Furyborn by Claire Legrand. Up next is Florida, featuring Florence and the Machine. For that, I picked A Broken Blade because Florida, to me, is a lot about addiction. And I go to A Broken Blade by Melissa Blair because at the very beginning, this is like, she's like a 75-year-old alcoholic halfling, and she is fighting her addiction most of this book, and then the rest, then we have better character development in the other books. But I just immediately, when I thought of a book about addiction, besides the Addicted series, which I have already picked, so I didn't want to do that one twice, but this one just, it has that, she has that, like, vibe of, I'm definitely addicted to something, but I'm having a good time doing it, and not healthy, as she learns, but definitely this is what I think of when I heard Florida. Next is Guilty as Sin. For this one, I picked Haunting Adeline because from the chorus lyrics at the beginning where it's like, what if he'd written mine on my upper thigh, only in my mind, one slip and falling back into the head's mage. Oh, what a way to die. My bedsheets are ablaze. I've screened his name, building up like waves, crushing over my grave without ever touching his skin. How can I be guilty as sin? So I thought of Zayd and Adeline for this one because it just has obsessive vibes, and this whole book series is a guilty pleasure of mine, so I think that's why I gravitated towards it. Next is Who's Afraid of Little Old Me, and I immediately thought of Hunger Games by Suzanne Collins. Who's Afraid of Little Old Me is exactly what the title gave. It is a great poppy song about, you know, who could be afraid of little old me? You should be. And immediately, Katniss has that underdog story, and no one really thinks they should be afraid of her, but man, should they be. Next is I Can Fix Him, No Really I Can, and I picked Addicted to You by Krista and Becca Ritchie. This is obviously an addiction story between two people who may or may not be good for each other. And I Can Fix Him, No Really I Can definitely has Lily in mind, in my opinion, because she is constantly telling herself that she's the only one that can help Lauren. She's the only one who can help and do all these things to get him better. And realistically, she also needs to ask for help, and that's why I picked this one. Next is Love, LOML, which can stand for Love of My Life or Loss of My Life, depending on what part of the song you're in. And when I listen to this song in its entirety, it is a beautiful ballad of losing someone you love and giving up someone who you thought you loved. So naturally, I went with ACOTAR in that whole series, because if this is not the poster song for this series, I don't know what is. Full disclosure, this is my favorite song on the Side A album, and that is I Can Do It With a Broken Heart. I am a Speak Now 1989 Taylor fan, so I definitely like her more poppy songs compared to her more moody songs, which, don't get me wrong, I still love the Evermore Folklore and this album, but I am more of that type of Taylor Swift fan. So, for I Can Do It With a Broken Heart, which is an extremely addicting song for about overcoming a broken heart, I picked The Final Offer by Lauren Asher because this book follows addiction. That seems to be a theme. and as well as actually doing something with a broken heart. Our main characters, this is a second chance romance. After Cal leaves Alana for the first time, she ends up becoming a single mom from her sister's child. And doing that right after her relationship imploded is the epitome of the message of I can do it with a broken heart. Up next is The Smallest Man Who Ever Lived, which is probably one of my favorite revenge songs that Taylor has written now. For that, I picked A Long Time Coming by Megan Quinn. Now, I did not pick this because of Breaker. I picked this because this is a best friends to lovers romance where Leah is engaged to an asshole. That is why I picked this, because she's engaged to a douche and he is the epitome of this song. And I knew that one of these revengey songs from this double album, I would be picking this because this man, Breaker as well, live in my head rent-free as the biggest book assholes I've ever read about. And so Smallest Man Who Ever Lived fits perfectly with the fiance in this book. Next is The Alchemy, and The Alchemy, okay, so I picked Guild because immediately when I heard The Alchemy, I was like, oh, it's gotta be Guild. And then I looked at the chorus and it still fit. So obviously, Alchemy, Guild, it's about a woman who's gold. Haha! Play on words. But it's also about something, to me, how I interpreted the song was you can't fight the attraction you feel. And Guild definitely has those themes in it, especially as you get further and further in the series. The last song is Clarabow. And for this one, I've probably listened to Clarabow the least amount so far. Okay, guys, the album hasn't even been out a week yet, and I'm doing this, but I am listening to it on repeat. But I picked It Happened One Summer only because Clarabow has this one line in it about a big city girl in a small town. And I immediately, when I heard that, I was like, oh, Piper, 100%. It is an heiress who is shunned to this little fishing town and finds love. So this song was based off of the one single line that I can remember, besides the "you look like Clarabow in this light," and I had to look up who Clarabow was, which, if you haven't already, that song takes on a whole new meaning when you look up Clarabow's story, because it's horrific. I wanted to do something a little happy for Clarabow, and I picked It Happened One Summer. So that is part one, or disc one, album one. It's a double album, so I don't really know how I would classify it, for the Tortured Poets department. And what books did I put with each song, based on the chorus or just the general vibes. This was really fun to make, so I'm definitely going to be doing the B-side for this album because like I said, I really like Taylor Swift, and this is just a really fun video to kind of set up and do. So with that, that's going to be the end of today's video. Please like, comment, and subscribe to our channel. We post twice a week typically, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!